Okay, you know, if you do want to cool off, maybe the 93 is too hot for you, you might want to go catch a movie, and that's why we have film critic Josh Bell here with the Bell Breakdown. Two big films out this weekend, right?
Yes.
I mean, I would say they're big because they're, you know, well known.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot of people excited and interested for these movies if they're fans of the particular subject matter that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, Godzilla is the first one we're going to talk about. This is King of the Monsters. So
Yes.
what, version is this?
Well,
Or
this
the
is
original
the
redone?
sequel to the 2014 Godzilla, which was an American English language film. Of course, there's dozens of Godzilla films that were made in Japan over the decades, but this is only the third time we've had an American one. There was one in 1998 that was a big failure, and then the one from a few years ago, which was pretty successful, and this is the sequel to that one, as well as, of course, everything is a cinematic universe now. So this is the latest building block in the Monsterverse, which includes Godzilla as well as King Kong. So we had the King Kong movie a couple years ago, and they're going to get to Godzilla versus King Kong next year.
Oh, that'll be good.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
For now, though, we don't have King Kong in this movie. We do have other monsters, though, that people may remember if they're fans of the Godzilla movies. You've got Mothra in this one, Rodan or Rodan, I don't know how you pronounce it, I'm screwing it up, I'm sure, and Mothra and Ghidorah. And so there's a bunch of monsters which they call the Titans in this movie, and they're being awoken from their ancient slumber, and some of them are helpful to humanity and some of them are not, and they fight, and there's a bunch of people kind of caught in the middle who are not very interesting and are played by a bunch of overqualified actors. Kyle Chandler, Vera Farmiga, Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things, which a lot of people are big fans of, Charles Dance, Bradley Whitford, tons of actors in this movie, all kind of standing around and staring at things that don't really exist. And looking at computer screens and yelling. They're not very interesting people. The story gets kind of convoluted and dull, and the monster battles, which is really what people are here to see, are almost all in the dark. They're in the rain, they're in the snow, they're in the smoke. You can see how obscured they are in some of these clips. When you can see the monsters, they look cool. And I think people who really are into the monsters fighting each other might find a few things to enjoy here, but it's 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's a lot of filler, and I just found it mostly dull. So it does not get me super excited for Godzilla versus King Kong next year, but you never know.
Yeah, it does seem a little bit dark. Maybe a fight in the sunshine would be better.
Maybe we don't have sophisticated enough effects for fights in the broad daylight. When they used to have guys in rubber suits, they could fight in broad daylight, but now it has to be in under cover of darkness, apparently.
Interesting. All right. Well, that's that one. And now this one, a lot of people talking about Rocketman. It's an Elton John biopic, and it's just kind of a depiction of what his life people say was like or is like.
I mean, it is what he says it's like. I think like we had the Queen movie last year, Bohemian Rhapsody, and like that, he is a producer here, so he's heavily involved in this depiction of his life. It's mostly his younger years, his early success. It ends right around the early to mid 1980s. And Taron Egerton plays Elton John. So part of it is a very familiar rock biopic kind of thing. His parents don't approve of him, and the record company doesn't believe in him, and then he gets the huge success, and he gets into the drugs, and he's got a manager who treats him poorly. That stuff I thought was kind of rote and uninteresting, but what this movie does really well is with its musical numbers, it's not just here he is performing a song on stage. It's really a full-on musical, so the characters sing the songs in the context of the story. There's big dance numbers. It's got a sort of fantastical, dreamlike element to it. Whenever they were doing the musical numbers, I thought this movie was really creative and fun, and of course the songs are really good. Everything in between was pretty dull, and I would have loved for it to be bolder and break format more than it did, but I still think for people who like this music a lot, I took my mom, she's a huge fan, she loved it. There'll be a lot to enjoy here. I just wish it had been a little more daring than it is.
Okay, and do you think that when you compare it to the Queen movie, does it hold up like Oscar-worthy and all that kind of thing?
I did not think that Queen movie was Oscar-worthy.
I
honestly thought that movie was pretty bad. This is a better movie. I think it's better filmmaking, it's more confident, it's more stylish. The musical performances are put together better. I don't know if this will win an Oscar or be nominated for an Oscar, but I do think it's a better movie.
Okay, so worth seeing.
Yeah, I think so, especially if you like Elton John, and there's certainly a huge number of Elton John fans out there, as there are Godzilla fans.
Yeah, true. So either or.
Movies for the fans this weekend.
Exactly. Listen, Josh, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you next week, and we'll be back after this. That was the Bell Breakdown.